Yes, there is leak information right now about the incoming Diablo Immortal update. To be honest with you, it's nothing that is too crazy, and I decided to hold off to share that with you until tomorrow because I think the topic that we're looking at right here is quite a bit more important. Now, this is a topic that I touched on just a few weeks ago, and to be honest with you, it didn't get a ton of attention, only getting 3,000 views on this. It's about the mass reporting bans. Well, we do have another instance of this, and I have quite a bit of inside context on this. No, not because it is impacting my clan, my friends, or anything like that, but because I just have some good insight of what's going on, so I can add a little bit. What I'm going to be doing here is sharing the information, then going through some comments, then giving you my take on what's going on. So this is mass reporting the real Diablo Immortal killer. This person here is saying that mass reporting and weaponizing this system is worse than account buying and all of the other issues that are going on right now inside of Diablo Immortal. I guess for all of us, well, that's for us to decide if we agree with that statement or not. I'm going to read this in full so you could hear exactly what's going on, and I'm curious about your opinions as well. For the purpose of keeping everyone's identity anonymous, I'll simply be summarizing a situation where I think there is a deep concern for the state of the game. Our clan has been a target of a harassment and mass reporting over the past few days. We've now had 2 to 3 strikes against our clan name. Each time we try to revert it back, it's automatically blocked the name again. I assume that the mass reporting is being done by fake alt accounts and or bots to facilitate the execution. There are so many reports that are queued such that as soon as the clan name is reverted, it's instantly blocked again by the game's internal reporting system. Now, if you recall, and maybe you don't, I did put out an additional video about 2 weeks ago where clans of a certain server cluster signed an agreement to no longer do these types of reports and weaponize that mechanic inside of the game. Now, the clans that were part of that were all of the clans that were involved in the Immortal and Shadow battles. Really, they were the ones at the top level of the game fighting for that immortality. This does not, and that did not really include regular players like myself or free-to-play players. It didn't include any of them, at least not that I know of, unless if they were part of the clans that were then competing for that level. I'm sure there were some, lower spenders and such in there as well. What's worse is that each time the clan name gets blocked, the sitting/acting lead of the clan will automatically receive a penalty strike on their account as well. It starts with a 1-day ban and then incrementally increases in severity from that point on until their accounts are temporarily banned altogether. These strikes will ultimately accumulate for a permanent ban and are non-reversible as far as I know. I've tried to submit tickets to Blizzard support, but of course, we only get generic responses for not violating the terms of service agreements. Meanwhile, the name is obviously not vulgar or discriminatory in any way. It is clear that we are simply being targeted by individuals who seek to abuse the mass reporting system in-game and weaponize it for their own selfish gains or agenda, maybe not even gains. Now, he goes on to say how this is not something new, that this article came out, and if you take a look at the top, it's from 1 year ago. This has been going on. This is not new, but it also is still going on and impacting people's play in a negative way now for a year. Because really when things get addressed, the Blizzard has the bot system get on it and they don't really have an actual person going through all of those. Part of me is like, how many people can they hire just to handle these reports? The other part of me is like, some people deserve to have their reports looked at. Maybe the reporting system should be removed from the game. We've talked about that in the past as well. Let's continue. Since my friend signed that post, I'll leave his name in there as originally written. Thankfully, their situation was ultimately resolved. It was ultimately resolved, but it sucks to think that a year later, nonsensical stuff like this is still happening. The negative impacts this has on a clan and its leaders' members is terrible. Unless Blizzard takes a stand and puts an end to this, people will only continue to abuse this further. It's not being used for its original intended purpose, but instead being used to actively target and threaten people's enjoyment of the game. What's worse, people who utilize this mass reporting bigger accounts and other whales simply out of jealousy or envy, and there's honestly nothing anyone can do about it. Blizzard's algorithm simply detects the number of reports and automatically assigns bans that are non-retractable from a person's account. Now, he kind of puts it in perspective here, which I think he did a nice job on how he said this. Imagine living in a society where anyone can report you for a dubious violation. And after 3 reports, you're simply arrested and hauled off to prison with no questions asked, due process given, or justice system involved. It's a terrible process that's short-sighted and ultimately will play a huge part in the downfall of this game. I truly hope that the community managers will bring this forward as a point of concern to Blizzard and NetEase so they can take an honest look at how they can limit the number of folks weaponize their reporting system that was originally intended for good, but now being abused for nefarious means. Now, I do want to look at some of the comments here as well. We have some from both sides of the field, and I think that all of the comments here are worthy of looking at, or at least a good number of them. But a lot of this had come. If you recall, let's hop over here. Yeah, we could do that just like that. There were a bunch of videos, right? We were recently talking about how Misery was kicked from his clan. That then turned into what was going on with Apollyon right here, right? Had that whole video going on discussing how he was getting threats and all that kind of stuff because of how he covered this instance. Then we talked about cheating in the game. All of these things. And then Blizzard should be ashamed. My thoughts on how Blizzard is allowing all this stuff to happen. This is a topic that we kind of exhausted, but it is still actually going on. And there was a video I put out at some point where I talked about how the truce document was placed out. Let's get back over here, though, to this as well and look at some of these. Sounds like someone is pissy that you got the clan name that they wanted, or maybe an ex-member who got kicked. Now, this clan name, as he says right here, this is the author of the article itself. The clan name has been around for ages. I'm pretty sure that we got targeted of attacks due to the nature of our clan having large whales. I think this is a key right here, right? There's a lot of hate that goes around against large whales. Everyone assumes that large whales in some way are cheating in the game. Everyone assumes that they are part of this whole ecosystem of determining who is going to be part of that blessed raid. Now, of course, there are some that are, no doubt about it. But one, it's not only large whales, and two, it's not all large whales. So many different ways of looking at that. Now, if you recall from that video that I had about Apollyon getting targeted and all of that, you know, he was making a pretty good stance against the things that were going on inside of the game. He dug in pretty well, and he received, you know, a lot of pushback from the community that he was essentially going after. So the question is this just a back and forth thing? Like, are now the whales or are now the people that were supposedly, whether it was true or not, I honestly don't know, attacking, are they now being attacked? Is it like a little war going on inside of the game? Definitely need for some sort of checks and balances on reports. Completely agree with that. That's a good one. The only time I ever used any report feature is if I'm doing dungeons and I see one person just standing there doing nothing for half the instance. Then I instant vote kick. Yeah, initiate the vote kick. Sure, of course. Same thing happened to us. We lost our completely non-offensive clan name because of pettiness, a broken reporting system, and Blizzard NetEase incompetence. So a lot of people are taking this out on Blizzard and NetEase because of the system that is in place, instead of the people that are taking advantage of a system and using it the way that it shouldn't be used. Really, the system is put in place to make the game a safer place, right? That's what the system is intended for. The people that are using it with malice are the ones that are using it in mass reporting players. They are using it as a weapon. They are the ones doing wrong. The problem is Blizzard and NetEase are getting the heat for it because the system that they then have in place for checks and balances is not actually doing a good job of checks and balances. And people are getting these removals from the game, or, you know, bans, things like that. Pretty simple. Don't be a jerk. If you can't beat a clan, move on to a bigger, better, move or try to get better. Yeah, true. I don't know if this is happening because of a loss or anything like that. I think it has something else to do regarding something else, but I'm sure half their clan is being botted as we speak. Doubt people just mass report for no reason. It's a problem for sure. Using language like the real DI killer downplays all the other issues in the game that we've experienced by a lot more players. That's a good point as well. A lot of players are not dealing with what we're talking about here today, but there are definitely groups of players that are. And then the author says, I respect your opinion, but at the end of the day, all the issues in gameplay and game experience pale in comparison at the thought that your account being completely banned altogether or your clan unable to compete in any events within the game. None of that matters if you or your clan can't even function properly. So good point here that this is only being felt by a small number of players. And another good point here, the rebuttal saying, yeah, those things are a problem too, but could you imagine just losing your account after years of gameplay over just someone reporting you massively? We got a new low for Blizzies. Diablo Immortal will never fix these issues. I mean, you can't even talk about an actual person just reporting simple things. NetEase makes millions from this free-to-play game, and they don't care what you think as long as people keep moving the money. I think that both Blizzard, I can't speak for NetEase because I don't have communication with them. I do have communication with Blizzard. So let's talk about Blizzard. They want what's best for the game. Blizzard does not want the game to absolutely suck just because it's making them cash. I think that at least the team that I know, they very much want this to be a great game that's enjoyed by many. There are definitely things that they need to address. I think this is one of them. I think there are others as well. I also, though, when we see that this article was made a year ago and it's still happening here today, I don't know if it ever will be, honestly. Looks like Apollyon came through with ChatGPT and summarized this whole article for everyone's convenience there. Just in case you didn't want to read. We have the same thing happened to my clan less than a month ago. There's literally multiple people living in their mother's basements, 30 to 40 plus alt accounts doing this for kicks, which is crazy. I don't know if that's true. This was a comment I think I wanted to read right here. Unfortunately, this is just a result of poor planning and inept programming. This type of system costs a lot less than having game masters. The fact of the matter is their short-sighted thinking about saving money and is going to be the ultimate reason their game falls apart. Please, devs, see this and do something about it. This should not be a fair way for a weaker clan to stop Blessed Rain, but if nothing changes, that's exactly what it's going to be used for. Not untrue. I think, this is actually one I wanted right here as well. Important point. Does your server have scripted Blessed Rains? This is what we've been talking about over the past couple of weeks. Example, collusion with other strong shadow clans to breeze through and have sure wins. Is your clan, considering you have a large amount of whales, participating in such collusion? If yes, then you know why you got reported. This is the feedback of smaller clans who can't get in. Okay, so I don't know why. Okay, what this is basically saying here is he's calling out the writer of this article saying, is your clan involved in the collusion about scripting who's going to be the Immortal? And if you are, the people that are being left out because they can't compete are probably the ones that are upset and doing the reporting. So the answer to that, I don't know. I don't know if things are being scripted right there or not, but it's a good question that person brought up to the person writing this article, because that could be a reason why this is going on. Whether that's happening or not, I don't know. What do you guys think about this topic? It's something that continuously surfaces here. Tomorrow I'll be bringing you that video on what leaks came out regarding Diablo Immortal and the incoming update. It's nothing crazy, which is why I didn't cover it today.